What's up, ladies and gents? xcalizorz here, bringing you some more Star Wars The Old Republic PvP gameplay. For this one, I am on my bounty hunter Powertech. Pyrotech. Pyrotech is the name of the spec. Powertech is the class. I don't know why they had to make the names so similar. So I guess we'll just call it the Powertech Pyro, or the Pyro Powertech. Yeah, that sounds much better. And so, for those of you who don't know, this class is the DPS spec of the Powertech trees. One of the other trees is also DPS. I think it's Advanced Prototype. I think that's what it's called. I don't even know. And when my bounty hunter is level 50, that's how bad it is. I mean, it is completely uneventful in every way whatsoever. The damage is just ass. All it does is bring a couple of utility to the class on top of some mediocre damage. I think I do more damage with my tank hybrid spec than I do with full Advanced Prototype. It is just terrible. The only saving grace that it has is that the animation on its final talent is pretty amazing. I mean, you wouldn't think that that much fire would be a single target attack, but I don't know. It seems a little excessive to me, but anyway, back to the Pyro Powertech. I mean, this class does monster damage. I actually rolled this class because some guy whipped the shit out of my mercenary bounty hunter. Like, he would look at me and I would die. There was absolutely nothing I could do. I tried everything and I could not beat him, and I was in awe of what was happening to me because no one had ever done that to me. Now, I realized that bounty hunter mercenaries aren't exactly the greatest at 1v1 situations. So, you know, I'm no stranger to losing to, like, you know, marauders and assassins who know what they're doing. But, I mean, this guy, I mean, I had no chance whatsoever at all. And because of him, I rolled a Powertech, and I am not disappointed. I mean, the amount of damage that this class can put out is just insane. I mean, I would not be surprised in the slightest to see this class gets a nerf. It's I mean, I'm sure you saw, like, in that opening sequence, that first guy, I think I crit that guy for 4,600, or maybe it was 4,100 with a 600 hit over, but a 4,000 crit? I mean, and that's insane, and numbers like that aren't exactly rare, because with the way the gear is set up and the talents and the cooldowns and all that stuff, I mean, it's just all multiplies into one big giant bowl of, or can of ass whipping destruction. I mean, that's the best way I can describe it. And, I mean, you wouldn't think I do so much damage, but I mean, looking at the class, you know, on paper, but I mean, once you actually play it and you start getting those rail shot procs, like, that is the meat of this class, is rail shots. And what rail shot is it's 30 yards, 30 meter range, or 30 yards. I don't know what unit measurement they use. Doesn't really matter. It's a long range attack, and with Powertechs, they can spec it to ignore 90% armor. 90%. And they also, depending on which gear set you choose, at least the PvP gear sets, you can get 15% crits on top of the on rail shot alone, and that is exactly what you want. You want rail shot to crit as often as possible. And I think in my gear, I have 30% base, something like that. So 15% on rail shot, making it 45, and I have a 2-minute DPS cooldown, which increases my overall crit by 25% more. And so I'm not sure how it works exactly, if it's like additive or multiplicative, but if it's additive, that's 70% chance to crit on a rail shot that ignores a 90% armor and hits like a freaking freight train. I think it's one of the hardest hitting abilities in the game, actually. At least now that they nerfed operatives, I'm not sure. I think Powertechs are the highest, heaviest hitters now, at least blow for blow. Maybe not overall. Marauders might get the edge in sustained damage, but sustained damage on Powertechs isn't too shabby either. And like the way this class works, if you have no idea what Powertechs do, is rail shot normally is on, I think, a 12 or 15-second cooldown, but with if you spec into Pyrotech, you get a talent to automatically refresh the cooldown on rail shot. It's 45% chance on every rocket punch you do, and rocket punch has a 9-second cooldown, and a 30% chance on every flame burst you do, which is your filler attack, is what you're always doing when you're not rail shotting or dotting people up or shoryukening people up a storm. And so, I mean, it is, I mean, you could, but due to the nature of RNG, like sometimes you'll just go into that dry spell where nothing is happening, no procs whatsoever. But then there are times where you hit a rail shot, follow it up with a rocket punch, and then another rail shot procs, and then do a flame burst, rail shot proc, and then do another flame burst and another rail shot proc. I mean, the damage capability is astounding. I mean, like I said, I would not be surprised to see Powertech's getting nerfed, which would make me sad. I think what I would do is I would probably decrease the chance for the RNG procs. I mean, that's what because that's what really puts the class over the top. Is, I mean, sometimes RNG treats you well, and you're just popping off rail shots left and right. And that's a brief overview of my gear and talents. I've got 7 pieces of Battlemaster in total. So, not doing too bad as far as gear is concerned. Actually just got my Battlemaster weapon today. And now I have to figure out as far as what pieces I want to get, because I want to be at 100% accuracy. And it's weird how this gear is set up, because like my implants at champion level had accuracy, but at Battlemaster, there's not a single implant that has accuracy at all. And I don't know why that is. So I kind of had to, you know, pick and choose what I'm going to get to make sure that I stay at like 99% accuracy. Because accuracy affects like weapon damage, and that's what rail shot is. It's bite damage, weapon damage. It goes off weapon damage. And I mean, there was this one time when I was at like 96% accuracy, and a fucking sorcerer, a wizard, you know, fucking dress-wearing patsy, deflected 2 of my rail shots back to back. And that never happened when I was at 99 and above. But once I got 97, I mean, I just started noticing a lot more dodges and parries and deflects. It was just ridiculous. So kind of have to pick and choose what gear I'm getting to make sure I stay above the accuracy threshold, so on, so forth. Joys of MMOs and all that fun stuff and stats. Gotta be wise and pay attention to all that fun stuff, otherwise you'll end up gimping yourself. Just too bad, so sad. But yeah, I've also managed to piss off quite a few people with this Powertech because once I see, like, I have a priority system of people I like to kill when my cooldowns are up, and those are always bounty hunters, commandos, and sorcerers. And because of the way the game is, like, it's very Empire dominated. So Hutball, this is what this war zone is called. Dungeon, battleground thing, whatever you want to call it. So you play against a lot of your own faction, and I've pissed off plenty of sorcerers. People just hate Scott Hall. I used to be Scott Steiner, but about 2 weeks ago they sent me an email and said I had to change my name because I was infringing on a cultural figure. Cultural figure. Yeah, I don't think anyone thinks Scott Steiner is a cultural figure. Not even a pop cultural figure. I mean, come on, it has to be very selective, you know, with, I don't know, coming after me for my name change. So I just changed it to Scott Hall, so I could keep the Scott part so that people will still recognize me. I like that notoriety. I worked hard for that. And so change it to Scott Hall, and then went and reserved Scott Steiner should they come after me again. I don't know why they didn't just get rid of the name completely, unable to be taken ever again. But whatever, BioWare isn't exactly too smart with some of the things that are doing. So what else can I say? So if you're looking to make a Powertech, I would definitely recommend it, though I would go into it expecting a nerf, so don't be surprised. But I still think overall it'll still be a very solid class because they do have very good tools. And yeah, that's that was an unfortunate throw. That should have been a score for us, god damn it. Damn it. I remember this one time I actually threw the ball to someone right as a warrior charged the guy I was throwing to, and they intercepted the ball. And we lost the game. Sometimes shit happens. What can you do? But we're dominating them pretty hard anyway, so it does not really matter a bit that they intercepted that. So, sorry, we've already won the Super Bowl here. There will be no Butterfingers today. We've already got a healthy lead. Most of the time when you get a 3-0 lead, hell, even if you get a 2-0 lead, it's not likely that they ever come back. It's usually always a one-sided stomping. It's very rare that you get games of hot ball that are very tooth and nail fought. Those games are very, very few and far in between. They do happen, just not very often. It's like seeing I don't know, a four-leaf clover, something like that. I don't know, whatever. But I think like as a spec, the Pyro does very, very good damage, very nasty, but they're also very squishy. I mean, I'd go as far as to say that they're a glass cannon, because if you get focused by 2 or 3 people, you're gonna die fast, and there's nothing you can do about it, even if you have someone healing you. But if you do have cooldowns up, it is not unlikely to hop into a group of 3 people and walk out killing 2 of them. And if they're good, they know what they're doing, know how to mash their buttons, you'll only kill 1 of them. But killing 1 person out of 3, still pretty good. But if you do manage to get into games where you're not being focused too hard, you will do amazing. Even if you are getting focused a lot and dying all over the place, you'll still do good damage, just because of the way this class works. I mean, you can get the brunt of your damage off in like 4 seconds, like 4 or 5 seconds, and it's all instant cast and it's all ranged. Well, not everything. Flame Burst is a 10-meter range, which you wouldn't think makes that big of a difference, but after playing a Marauder, man, I wish some of his attacks were 10 meters. 10 yards. I think it's 10 meters. Yeah, it's 10 meters. Doesn't really matter. Whatever. It's got that little extra range so that people can't kite you too well. And behold the power of dots. Burn, bitch, burn. I had to stay there to make sure that he died. Always brings me great joy to kill someone with dots. But I lost my train of thought. God damn it, dots. Yeah, the 10-meter range on Flame Burst is amazing, and you have 30 meters on all of your important abilities. Your Fire Dot, which lets you use Rail Shot, Thermal Detonator, all 30 yards, and plus your auto attacks at 30 yards too, which you wouldn't think is too important, but auto attacks also have a chance to proc the Powertechs have 2 dots, one that they can control in an incendiary missile, and one that procs off of a combustible gas cylinder. It's like what they can buff their weapon with, and yeah, it's good. Maybe I'll get back into explaining it a little better. But yeah, monster damage, have 2 dots, 30, like a melee range hybrid, very amazing, and yeah, it has my seal of approval, and I don't know if you can read that, but I think that's 465,000 damage I used, and the next closest guy did like 200,000. So, yeah, Scott Hall is definitely all-powerful, and on that note, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed it, and as always, peace soup.